From Hollywood, it's America's #1 pop music show, America's Top 10 with Casey Kasem. This week, you'll see The Police, Pat Benatar,
You go around telling lies and now you want to compromise. What you trying to do to my heart?
Janie Fricke,
Think I'm falling in love with you.
an update on the legendary Fats Domino.
But I'm starting to get my rest, 'cause money's a man.
Plus, exclusive reviews of Billboard's Top 10 on the Pop, Soul, Country, and Album charts for the week ending January 25th, 1981. Now, here's Casey Kasem.
Hello again, and welcome back to America's Top 10. Let's get right to the action on the pop chart. In the number 10 position, same as last week, we have The Police from England with the do-do-do, da-da-da-da. Number 9, moving up 2 notches into the top 10, Diana Ross with It's My Turn. In the number 8 position, also debuting this week, up 4 notches, it's Eddie Rabbitt's recent number 1 country song, I Love a Rainy Night. Holding at number 7 again this week, Passion by Rod Stewart. Number 6, same as last week, the act out of Australia, Air Supply with Every Woman in the World. Bruce Springsteen's Hungry Heart stays in the number 5 spot. In the number 4 position, dropping a notch, Guilty by Barbra Streisand and Barry Gibb. In the number 3 spot, up a notch, Blondie's The Tide is High. And holding again this week at number 2, Love on the Rocks by Neil Diamond. Number 1 for the 5th consecutive week, John Lennon's Starting Over.
Like starting over. Starting over.
Well, now it's time for our Spotlight Song of the Week. And you know, it's one of the most delightful songs in the top 10. It's by the hottest new band in the world today. Formed in England just 4 years ago, this new wave rock band's been hitting the tops of the charts all over the globe. In Britain, Belgium, Holland, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and the United States. These 3 Englishmen call themselves The Police. And their approach to music is very basic. Simple arrangements, simple production. A lot like the way rock and roll started out back in 1955. They say they even produced their European smash album called Outlandos d'Amour for only $6,000. And that's ridiculously low these days. But their success is certainly proving that less is more, as we're about to see in their pop spotlight performance of the do-do-do, the da-da-da. By the way, it's films like these that give home movies a good name. Here they are, looking very cold, but having a good time. The Police. They're hot. The Police with their international hit, the do-do-do, the da-da-da. One debut album, and it's Blondie's latest called Auto-American, moving up a notch to number 10. Moving up 1 notch, The Police with their hit album, Zenyatta Mondatta. They're at number 7. And at number 5, moving up a couple of notches, Neil Diamond's latest album, The Jazz Singer. And at number 1, for the 5th week in a row, it's Yoko Ono, John Lennon, and Double Fantasy.
Woman, I can hardly express.
Now it's time for our album Spotlight Song of the Week. You know, so far in this new decade, the 80s has been pretty good for women in rock. Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart are just coming off a top 20 album and a top 10 single. Deborah Harry and Blondie had the number 1 single of 1980 called Call Me. And their latest album has just entered the top 10. Chrissie Hynde of the Pretenders made a big splash last year, and so did another female rocker named Pat Benatar. Her press agent refers to her as the Mount St. Helens of rock, because she erupted in 1980 with a hot debut album, In the Heat of the Night. Slight exaggeration, perhaps, but acceptable to anybody who's seen Pat Benatar perform. Her second album, Crimes of Passion, is number 2 this week in the charts, and it's in our album Spotlight. From it, here's the song, You Better Run. And notice the unusual setting they chose for this performance. Here she is, that high-energy lady named Pat Benatar. You Better Run. That was Pat Benatar with a song from her number 2 album, Crimes of Passion. At number 10, moving up just a notch, Love Over and Over Again by Switch. At number 9, moving up 4 notches, Boogie Bodyland by Bar-Kays. And at number 8, big mover, 10 notches to make the top 10, Burn Rubber by the Gap Band. And look what's at number 1 again this week. If you haven't noticed, they've been there for 6 weeks in a row now. It's Kool and the Gang with Celebration. When you're cool, and when you're hot. Now, let's take a look at the top 10 on Billboard's country chart this week. We have two debut records. At number 10, John Anderson's 1959, and at number 8, I'll Be There by Gail Davies. Dropping from number 1 to number 6 this week, Eddie Rabbitt with I Love a Rainy Night. And moving from number 2 to number 1, the new number 1 country song, Dolly Parton and 9 to 5.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by.
You know, our country spotlight song this week is by a woman whose voice has been heard by just about all of us, but whose face and name are known mainly to fans of country music. Now, the reason that we've all heard her voice is that we couldn't have missed it. It's on all those singing commercials she's done for countless national sponsors. 4 years ago, Janie began hitting the country charts, and she's already been nominated for a few awards. Her current hit is her biggest so far, and it's moved up to number 2 this week. And it's our country spotlight song. A viewer in Port Deposit, Maryland wants to know what was the longest playing hit single. Well, the Beatles, the Temptations, and Don McLean all had big hits that ran for more than 6 minutes each. We'll find out which single was the longest in just a moment. In TV commercials, you've probably seen a middle-aged singer named Slim Whitman selling records by mail order. Well, that same Slim Whitman is the man who hit the top 10 28 years ago with Indian Love Call. The man whose recording of Rose Marie holds a rock-era record in England for staying at number 1 the longest, 11 weeks. His worldwide album sales are reportedly over 50 million copies, and he's become a cult hero with students. That's who Slim Whitman is. Now, the answer to our trivia question. Question comes in from Ken Watkins in Port Deposit, Maryland. He sees the show on Channel 13 in Baltimore. Ken wants to know, what song holds the record for being the longest playing hit single? Well, to be certain that we would give you an accurate answer, Ken, we limited our research to the rock era and to the top 10. Here's what we found. A lot of hits ran longer than 5 minutes. A few ran longer than 6 minutes. Papa Was a Rolling Stone by the Temptations ran almost 7 minutes, and it was number 1 8 years ago. Hey Jude by the Beatles was a little longer than 7 minutes, and that was number 1 12 years ago. Now, the longest running top 10 hit of the rock era goes nearly 8.5 minutes from the start to finish. We put stopwatches to Don McLean's American Pie, and we timed it at 8 minutes and 25 seconds. It, too, was a number 1 smash, and is the longest playing top 10 single of the rock era. Thanks for writing, Ken.
And because America's Top 10 used Ken's question, he'll receive Hamilton Beach's Superfast Pop Air Electric Hot Air Corn Popper. Makes up to 4 quarts of delicious oilless popcorn in minutes. Hamilton Beach, Scoville.
Well, that's our show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be very busy computing the top 10 acts of the 70s for a super special, exciting show in the beginning of February. And next week, we have Neil Diamond, Eddie Rabbitt, Lakeside, and an update on Johnny Rivers, and lots more. Till then, keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.